Good afternoon, everybody. So we are happy to welcome you here, to have all of you here. So in the final of our Psls Got Talent that we organized. So before everything, we're gonna surrender this time into the mighty hand of God, and quickly we call Mr. Prosper to pray to surrender this time into the hands of God. We call Mr. Prosper.
Okay, thank you. Let's pray. We thank you, Master Jesus, for your grace. We thank you for your love. We thank you, Lord, for your protection. And we do thank you for making this ceremony possible. Lord Jesus, we want you to reign among us in everything we do here. We want you to reign and to show up your glory in everything. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen. So thank you once more for being here. So we are about to start, our ceremony. But before everything, we would like to present you the program. And I would like Mr. Nicholas to speak about the program that we'll be having today.
Okay, thank you too much. Hello, everybody. Hello. Okay, as we said, today we are having this competition. And before everything, it's better for us to give you first the program, for us to know what we are doing exactly. The first thing that we did was the prayer. We started by the prayer. And the second thing will be the presentation of all assistants. Those who are here. And after that, we'll have introduction of, as I said, of assistants. And before that, just after presenting all assistants, we're gonna now have some speech or interventions of some guests who are invited in this place with us. And just after that, there are going to be someone who is going to speak about the history of the Psls, and it's Mr. John Kalambai. And after just him, it will be another person who is going to tell us the experience of John Kalambai. He's going also to tell us about the experience of Mr. John Kalambai. And there is someone who is going to give us some reasons of our tonight's meeting. He's going to speak about the Psls Got Talent. It will be Mr. Roger Mboma. And just after him, there will be also another person who is going to speak. He's going to give the work experience of SP program by Mr. Cornell. And after that, as we see, we have our 4 competitors here. There were many, but today it's those who did something special. They are all the best. And just today we are going to see who will be the winner, the first position, and who is going to take the second position till the last position. And for them, we have 2 things that we are going to do. The first one will be the debate. The debate, and during the debate, we'll have some interventions of guests, while they are debating. And they are going to speak about secrets and experience of the farmer winner of the Psls, because I can say this is the second one, the second competition. The first one, they will tell us some experiences, how it was. The winner of that Psls, but the second one is now called Psls Got Talent, but it's not the same name with the first competition. The first competition was English Word of Honor. It will be presented by Elijah Ndambo. He's already here with us. And just after him, we'll have also some secrets and experience of farmer winner, Rodrigue Elekeleme. And after that, we'll have work experience by Rodin Pelendo. And after that, as we said, that we'll have 2 practices that they are going to deal with. The first one, as I said, will be the debate. And just after that, they will have now the defense of the company, or they will have now the defense of their works. And during that defense, the first one will be David. Let me give you directly the names. The first one will be David Mabola. And his topic is the impacts of new information and communication technologies on company performance. And just after him, the second person is going to be, the second one is going to be David Uruma, and his topic is the evolution of the contractual and structural policy of the Congolese states and its impact on the social economical development of DRC from 2012 to 2022. And just after him, the third person is going to be Abed Kanda. And Abed Kanda is going to talk about becoming a pilot. And the last person, as we notice that there are four, the last person will be Josue Chimpaka. And his topic is humanity facing industrialization. And after that, we notice that we'll have the deliberation of the jury and announcing of results and giving gifts. And just after that, the last thing that we're gonna do is the last speech of supervisor of the senior Psls, and at the end, it will be the end of everything. As I said, just from after the prayer, we said that we will deal with the presentation of our assistants of the Psls. So I'm not alone. Let me give the floor to Gistan so that you may go straight to.
Thank you to give back the floor to me. So without too much delay, we're gonna start off, okay, to present all the assistants of the Psls. So first of all, we're gonna start presenting you Mr. Roger, who is the supervisor of the Psls. He's there. He can stand up and we can clap hands for him. Secondly, we're gonna present Mr. Prosper. He's also one of the assistants of the Psls. You can stand up. We have Mr. Dieu Merci. You can stand up. So we didn't forget others. So they are there. They are many. Okay? And we're still keeping on presenting them. We also have Mr. Aaron. Mr. Aaron. He's there. We can clap hands for him. So apart from Mr. Aaron, we also have Fideline. Miss Fideline. She's there. Okay? Apart from Fideline, we also have Mr. Elijah. Elijah Lufiki. And as you know, the Psls has many assistants, okay? Many assistants have been created by the Psls, okay? And we can tell you even, we can tell you, present to some of them. I mean, those who are there, but they are not really active anymore, but that's the assistant. We have Mr. Roderick. We have Mr. Elijah Ndambo. We have Mr. Fabrice. And we have Mr. Dick. So with that, because we have our father, okay? And we have our father, the one who made our father, okay? The one who made those who made us, okay? And we who have them to make also others, the job that we keep in now. And we have Mr. John Kalambai. Don't worry, he will speak a lot, okay? And you know he speaks a lot, okay? And he will have time to speak to you about the Psls in details. Okay, so without too much delay, we're gonna start off. So we are going to call Mr. John Kalambai. We are going to call Mr. John Kalambai, and I want you to give some round of applause when he's standing. So as you can see him,
20.
He is the CEO of the Senate.
That's okay, man.
Okay.
Well, hello everybody. Hello. It's always difficult and complicated when you have to speak in front of a lot of people, okay? Especially in front of those guys I see. Whenever I see them, maybe you're not gonna understand it. You're not gonna understand how I feel when I see you guys. It's it's like a testimony, right? It's like a testimony. Seeing all these people with smart how you are. And some of you are now teaching assistants at university. It's really great. And I certainly I would like first to tell Roger to stand up again and to give him, to celebrate. Do you know the difference between clapping and celebrating? Can we celebrate Roger? Can we celebrate? When you celebrate somebody, it means you don't, it means you don't stop clapping. Well, we're celebrating Roger because he made it possible. Okay? He made it possible for you to be here and for others to be there. Okay? And it's amazing to see that. Well, I've never touched Roger. Never, right? Yeah. I mean, none of them, by the way. Right. Well, I've never touched you, right? Never, right? Never. Who touched you?
We happen to have conversation in German.
In German, yeah, but here it's English, of course, in German. Do you still speak it?
Yes.
That's great, wonderful. We're going to take it at the end. So, Elijah, who taught you English? At the Psls. To Roger. Roger, who taught you English? Harvard. Who taught you English? Who taught you English? Harvard, Roger. You see that? It's amazing, right? When you come and you go, but you still got a couple people who can do the job that you started. This is something great. This is something powerful of the Psls, right? That's why I always say that this center is never going to die. We're going to exist and exist and exist, and people are going to listen. People are going to hear about us. Okay, and this demonstrates that, this shows that it's an institution. Okay, because when you have an institution, you have people coming and going, but the institution stays. Okay, I would like Corner to be here. I don't know if he's going to come. It's coming. Because Corner is among the foreman systems. That's where it's back, I don't know, 12 years now. I don't know how many years now. I don't know how many years, maybe 10 or 12 years. And to see that today, John, I'm no more here. I really don't know what's going on here, but you're still here. So that's great. That's a testimony for me, personally speaking. That's a testimony for me. And that's something wonderful that's why I asked you to celebrate Roger, because you took it. Roger, publicly, I thank you for that, okay? Because I have to say it. If you were not there, I don't know if these people would be here, okay? Because with all my time, I mean, with everything that I'm doing, I don't have time to come, but you're doing that, so you're great. You are great. Thank you. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Roger. And I remember because before Roger, there was Pavli, right? Pavli was the head. And then I remember back in the days, that day, I even remember that day I was teaching at Simete when Pavli called me and saying to me that, he called me. Pavli called me and said, well, John, I'm traveling. I'm not going to have time, but because the institution of the principle, the rule of the Psls is that when you leave, somebody's going to take your place. And I believe you're working on it, right? You're working on it, right? Yes, sir. Okay, so when you leave, somebody's got to take your place. And he told me, I said, okay, who do you think is going to take your place? Then he said, Roger. Back in the days, you were not what you are today, right? You went all over the place. All over the place, and I was like, I said, well, are you sure that man is going to make it? Okay? And Pavli told me that Roger is going to make it. I said, are you sure that he's going to make it? He said, yeah, he's going to make it because the guy is always present, the guy has it in him, the guy has that faith, the guy has that power, he has that will. Okay, because that's the greatest thing we need to have, but that's the only one thing that you need to have to be a citizen of the Psls, or to be member of the Psls. To be member of the people in the Psls, you don't need to speak four languages, 6 languages, but you gotta have that faith, you gotta have that will, you gotta have that determination, and that God guided that day. Everybody gets it, right? Yeah. I appreciate it. So then I say, okay, move forward. You can't take Roger as the head, and Roger did great thing. I'm sorry to take 5 minutes to thank him because maybe himself doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe he doesn't. Yeah, probably. He probably doesn't know what he's doing, but he's doing a great job. Great job. If Roger was not
Well, grammatically speaking, we can say if he was not, if he were not.
If you were,
But we can say both.
of course.
We can say both. And I remember, it's Mr. Smooth who made me that correction back in the days. Because I was not saying if I were. He says, why are you saying if I were? Why are you not saying if I was? Okay, we can say both. Now, if Roger was or were not here, maybe all of you guys wouldn't be here, okay? So, first of all, my first thing I want you to know is that Roger is going to go away and somebody's going to replace him. Okay? And that person can be anybody. That person can be anybody. Unfortunately, we've never had a lady leading the Psls, unfortunately. I would like to see a lady leading the Psls. But anyway, so Roger is maybe going to choose one of you to lead the Psls, okay? And today, of course, the Psls is not what it is supposed to be. But with all my heart, I believe this is going to happen one day. Okay. Oh yeah, and that day the flag is going to be high, and that day we're going to celebrate it. Okay, so I was asked to speak about the Psls. That's it?
The creation of the Psls.
The creation of the Psls.
And after that, your experience, of course, 17 years. Speaking here.
Well, I'm going to mix both. Why? It's difficult to speak about the creation of the Psls. Okay, here we go. In 2000, right? In 2000, Mrs. Moon. Do you know Mrs. Moon?
Yeah.
Can we stand up for 1 minute to show respect to Mrs. Moon? Okay, thank you. In 2000, when Mrs. Moon came at home, we are 5 in the family, okay? 5, I'm the second. I had a big brother. I have one small brother, one little brother, and 2 little sisters. Now, back in the days, he came and told me, or he told us that, look, listen, you guys have to speak English. Okay, back in the days, I think I was at first, second, at normal school, something like this. First or second, something like this. So, then he said, I want you guys to speak English because I'm your father, I speak English, but I'm able to transmit what I have to other people, to other students, to people who are not of my family. And I want you, then he said, how come you, my children, you're not able to speak English? I remember very well that day, as if it was yesterday. Then he said, okay, moving forward, you're going to learn English. That was a family thing. He said, moving forward, you're going to learn English. Then he brought the book, I call it the magical book, because that book helped me to speak all the languages. That was Anglais sans peine. Okay. That was, assimil, yes, that was assimil Anglais sans peine. Then he said, okay, I said, I'm going to be printing out pages or lessons that I'm going to give you, okay? Then you're going to read, and when I come back home, then I'm going to have some exercises with you. But before that, I was in the second secondary school. But before that, in the first secondary school, I had a book called Rip Van Winkle. Yeah, that's a very old book. You know those kind of old books whose pages are yellow. Yeah, that's the kind of book I had. And I remember, oh my God, I remember back in the days, I didn't have that good level. It was even my mom who was helping me to read some words. Okay, because and that's a book I used to learn those small words, like almost, like already, like always. I really remember about that word. Okay, but now 1 year after then, when my father came and made that decision to teach us English, I hope everybody gets me what I say. Hello? Do you get me what I say? Am I quick?
No,
Sure. Who does not understand what I'm saying? No, I changed the question. Who understands what I'm saying? Who understands what I'm saying?
Gross gets we don't speak English.
Do you have people who have first level or something?
No, we have people who have maths who don't speak English.
Good.
One episode, we got it.
Okay, they have the support. Thank you. Now, then Mrs. Moon said, okay, we're gonna learn. Are you gonna learn English? With then he gave us papers. I'm gonna be quick. Then he gave us papers to learn English. Okay. So as I said, we have five in the family. Okay. So my father wanted everybody to speak English, but unfortunately, I don't know if I have to say unfortunately or fortunately, I was the only one to be interested or focused on that. Okay. Then I showed him my interest and my will to learn English. Then I began to read that book of Anglais sans peine à s'aimer. But it was difficult for me, okay, because I was not yet, I was secondary school, and he was not teaching us. He gave us papers. Did you get it? He was not teaching us. He gave us papers, and he taught us to read. So it was a little bit complicated. Don't you guys see them? You guys see them? Because, okay, no problem. Now here we go quickly. Then I started learning it. Okay, I started reading. But it was a little bit difficult. So when he was coming back from school, from work, he was then asking a couple of questions, and I was the only one to answer. Okay, I was the only one to answer among my brothers and my sisters. Then he saw that I was focused on it, and I was showing more determination, or more faith, or more ability to learn. Then. That's how I started. But after time, he stopped because he didn't have time. My father was such a busy. Sorry, I thought about it. My father was such a big man. I mean, such a busy man, and he never had time. So he stopped, and we also stopped. I mean, he thought we stopped, but I didn't stop. Okay. When the school year had ended. Then he told me, okay, John, because now at that time my level was a little bit high, okay? Because I was now concentrated on reading, focus on reading. Then he don't tell me, I see that now you can. That was 2001 now. I see that you are now in focus or trained, and I want you to go to another level. That's what Mrs. Moon told me. I want you to go to another level, and for going to another level, he gave me another book, and that's Nouvelle Américaine sans peine. Oh yeah, that's the book that opened up my word of English. Okay, that's a book that opened up my word of English. That was Nouvelle Américaine sans peine. I remember he was giving us 20 pages. Sorry. You see, he came and said, okay, take these 20 pages, you read. Then you're gonna come back after 1 week, and I'm gonna ask you questions. Okay. So among the students, there were a lot of different people. And the same thing happened as in my family. They were not reading, but I was reading. And I remember, and that's what I always say, English taught my teenage. I didn't have time to do what teenage boys could do. You understand me? Yeah. I learned how to ride a bike very, very late. Yeah, very late, because I was concentrated. I was concentrated on reading English and focus, and I believe at the time the Holy Spirit was working on me to develop all the methodology after. Then I started reading and reading. Look, I'm saying reading and reading and reading. Roger tells you that you gotta repeat your lesson 10 times, right? I was repeating my lessons 20 times. 20 times, the same lesson. 20 times, God is my witness. I'm not lying. 20 times I was reading the same lesson. And when after 1 week we went to the center at Mama School, then my father stood up and began to ask questions. Okay, what this means, and I was the only one to answer. So the other students say, yeah. Then he was saying, no, I didn't teach you, because himself was marveled on how, or at what I was doing, okay, because he could not believe that, because I was very good at it, I remember. Then that happened again and again. It happened again and again, until everybody was like murmuring. Everybody was like saying, no, this is fake. Okay, they were saying that, well, Smoon and his child, they're faking this thing. Because how come he's the only one to answer? Then he decided to stop it. Yeah, he decided to stop the school because of that. And he said, okay, moving forward, we're going to be concentrated on computer science. Okay, then he stopped this. Then I told him, this book is interesting for me. Can I have the other pages? Yeah, and that's where my English started. He gave me the whole book. It was 245 pages. 245 pages based on Kalasang Bash. Ladies and gentlemen, and he gave me audios. And what pushed me to, I'm gonna say, to eat that book was the audio. Okay, and that was my very first time to hear American people speaking. Then he gave me the audio, and I remember there was a sentence that American guy was saying. The sentence was, "What a combo." Well, those people pronounce it in a way they say, "What a combo." And I was trying to check, why that T? I'm not hearing that T of what? I mean, how in the world are they doing that? Because what I'm trying to do, but I'm saying what? Why is he not saying what? He's saying, what combo? What is that? What is that? Then I ran to Mr. Suma and said, what's going on here? I don't get it at all. Why are they saying what, but I'm saying what? What's going on here? Then he told me that's American English. I said, oh, what do you mean that's American English? He told me, look, there are different kinds of English. You got American English, you got British one, you got African one, and so on. And you have a lot of tunes and a lot of accents. Okay, that accent is an American accent. That is the day I said, I will speak American English. That's back, what I'm telling you is maybe 20 years ago. Okay, I was a boy, maybe 13 years old, yeah. 12 or 13 years old. Then I said to my father, I'm going to speak American English as well. Then he said to me, good luck. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I took that book of 200 pages and I told him to give me all the audios where I could listen to those American people. And I ate that book. I finished that book in 2 weeks. 245 pages. 245 pages. I ate that book. I ate those pages in 2 weeks. Then I came back and said, Mr. Sumunwa, I said, Dad, I'm done with it. He was like, what do you mean you're done with it? That's 200 pages. I said, don't worry, I'm done with it. He said, really? I said, yeah. So he took the book. Well, nobody got the book here. He took the book, he opened it just like that, randomly. Then he started the sentence because his exercise was, I'm going to read a sentence and you're going to tell me what it means. That was his question. I mean, the kind of exercise he had to do with me. And when he opened the book, he started reading the sentence. He did not arrive at the end of the sentence, and I continued the sentence for him. So he did it the first time, he was like, no, this is maybe yeah. So he closed it, he opened again, I continued the sentence. He did it 4 times, and 4 times I ended the sentence for him. That means I had that book in my head, and I remember that day, he closed the book, he put his hand in the pocket, and he gave me $10. But back in the days, $10 was like, I don't know, 1,000. Then he said to me, you done, man. He said it to me, you done. You now reach another level. And then 2001, at the end of 2001, I think something like, that was July or August, something like this. Then he came and told me, listen, now your level is good, but that's not the level you should have, because you still have a lot to learn. Then he spoke to me about BBC. It's Mr. Simon who taught me BBC. And he told me, listen, you have not to listen to BBC. Okay? And I started listening to BBC. It was very hard. He gave me some strategies. Some worked, some didn't work. And I started listening to BBC, and it was very hard. I'm gonna give a little experience of my BBC work. I don't know if you guys listen to understand BBC, but as for my case, it took me, listen to me carefully, it took me 1 year, 12 months to understand BBC. Yeah, me personally, it took me 1 year to sit down to understand BBC. When I had Corney and what's the girl again? Sarah Sifu. Her name is Sarah said from all these people, they did it in 2 months or 3 months. I was amazed. Yeah. Corey and all the guys and Pavuri and so on, they could understand BBC after 3 months and 2 months. I told them, you guys are Superman. You guys are Superman. It took me 1 year, 12 months to understand it. Sometimes I was putting it there at the radio, and people going by, people were passing by, they were saying, hey, I could not understand anything, nada. But my father was encouraging me, telling me, listen, that's how it goes. Just put it, and it's gonna work on your ears. Put it, it's gonna work on your ears, and one day he was 200% right. Okay, it took me a lot of time because I didn't have anybody. Of course, he gave me some strategy, but he was not with me. Okay, so he was always away. That's why it took me a lot of time because I didn't have somebody to hold me by the hand. Yes, okay, because I'm going. Yeah, because I didn't have anybody to hold me. You made a mistake to give me the floor. Sorry, I'm landing off. So he gave me. What was I saying? What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
On BBC. You were listening to BBC and people were passing by and said that.
No, but before that, after that. Ooh.
Mr. School was encouraging me.
Sorry?
Mr. School was encouraging me.
Thank you. I had nobody. So that's why it took me a lot of time. So, but when these people came, and by God's grace, I showed them the principles and the strategies, how to listen to the BBC and to understand it. They did it in 2 months. So this is only to encourage somebody, okay? When you cannot understand me as I'm speaking right now, or if you cannot understand American people, do not worry, okay? If I speak here and you don't get me, do not worry. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It only means that you gotta wash your ears. It's a matter of washing your ears when you're not able to understand when they speak. It's not because you're bad, it's because your wish is not, your ears are not clean. Yeah, in bracket, your ears are not clean. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get it, but you're gonna get it with faith, with determination, with focus on what you're doing. Okay. So and then Mrs. Moon, with the desire to see me growing up in English, then he told me, John, why not opening up a center? Okay, then he said, okay, look, that was 2001. He said, look, John, I think to help you to move your level, to help you to increase or to go higher in your English, I would like you and I to open up a school of English. Okay, then he told me to look for a name of the school. Then I was not able to look, I didn't find the name. And I remember that day, that was at night. At night, he came back home and told me, John, I got the name for the school. I said, okay, what's going to be the name? He said the name is going to be Psls, Practical School for Language and Science Learners. I said, no problem, Dad. Here we go. Then we started. That's how the PSLS started. So the PSLS started because my father wanted me to speak well English. That's it. Because he told me, if you're teaching every day, you're going to improve your level. That's what he told me, and that's what happens with some of your assistants. When you started with the PSLS, you didn't have the level that you have today. But when you're teaching, the more you're teaching, the more you're growing. Okay, because when you're teaching for the PSLS idea, the PSLS principle, when you're teaching, you gotta read again and again. That's why I was telling Roger and all these guys and all these people that when you're assistant, you gotta read again and again. So that's how the PSLS started, and it was very difficult for me when I started because I didn't have students, and I had to. Not only I didn't have students, I didn't have a strategy, I didn't have a methodology. So I had to come out from something new. But back in the days, I was meeting a lot of people. Because back in the days, English was not as it is today. Today, everybody speaks English in brackets. Everybody in brackets speaks English. But back in the days, when you speak English, it's like people are looking at you in a way that, what's going on here? How come this guy speaks English? And a lot of people were saying to me, are you sure you call police? Are you sure you this and that? And I met a lot of people coming like to attack you. Because back in the days, English was like a battle. It was like a battle, and they were saying like, and I met a lot of people learning or speaking. What's what do we call that? That bad English slang. Okay, they came with slang words and expressions. So they were coming to attack me. Okay, because they saw me there standing and teaching some people, young that I was, and they said, no, you cannot be teaching people like this. we have schools of English. You cannot come like this, and they begin to attack me with slangs and so on. And I remember one day I went to see Mr. Moon, and I said to him, people are coming to attack me because I was his assistant, right? But he was never there. So that's why he was never there. So people were coming to attack me too much. And I told him they're coming to attack me with expressions and this and that slangs. He told me, don't worry, man. He went to his shelf and he took a book. That book was, what's the book again? It was Idiomatic Expressions. He gave me a book called Idiomatic Expressions with thousands of expressions. He told me, okay, because those guys, they don't get English. They think English is a battle. Okay, next time they come, check what expression here is shoot. I said, oh, that's good, now we're talking. Then I took that book and I began, because I was very focused and I was a reading man, and I took a couple of expressions from the book. And when they were coming and I was, when they gave me an expression that I didn't understand, I was also giving them expressions that I couldn't understand. And there was no communication anymore. So that's why, that's how they went, and they went away, and I started learning fighting, praying a lot, trying to find new methodology. And one day when I was sleeping, I don't know how, but the Holy Spirit showed me the mission, the principles that you have today. I believe the guy gave you all the principles. So the principles I gave you, I had it a long time ago in a dream. I was sleeping and somebody was telling me, okay, tell them this, tell them that. And that's how you have those principles. What are the principles again?
Be present every day.
Be present every day. Read 5 times or 10 times. When you read, you speak aloud. So all those things, I put them together, and that's what happened. And I had good people. Hey, let me tell you, I had good people. They're here. Corny is there, and Corny is not even my first student. No, not at all. I have very formal students. A lot of them are in Europe and so on. So that's how we did it, by faith. We did it by determination. We did it because we were focused, with enthusiasm that we had, and ownership. Okay, and if you don't have ownership in what you're doing, you're not gonna get anything. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege for me to stand up here. I know I'm supposed to be coming every time here, but unfortunately, my time is not allowing me to do that. But I believe one day we all gonna be together, especially for those who are gonna be loyal to the Psls, okay? And Roger is showing his loyalty to the Psls, and he will be, in Jesus' name, rewarded one day. And all of you guys, all of your assistants, Roderick, who was in South Korea and so on, some of you traveled, but you came back and you see here with the Psls. From the bottom of my heart, I tell you, thank you.
Can you once more give some round of applause for Mr. John? He deserves it. So now quickly, who is gonna speak to us about the why of this Psls Got Talent? Can you please clap in for him?
Hello guys. It is again a privilege for me to be here and to speak about this competition. Of course, it was as a dream. It was as a dream, and many of you thought that it could not be like this. And as I told you, and as I promised you, we have made it together. First, why Psls Got Talent? First, I was watching a movie. That movie was entitled "School Got Talent." School Got Talent is a movie, and I also have that movie. Now, it was through that movie that I got the inspiration. I said, what can't we put Psls Got Talent instead of School Got Talent? Pavard made it through a movie. That was it was English Award of Honor. That's where Psls English Award of Honor came. That's why I wanted to do the same thing. That's why in life you have to be inspired by another person. If you want to learn how to move forward, you have to learn from people. If you don't want to learn from people, you cannot move forward. This what helped me, or this what helps us to make this Psls Got Talent. And it is a privilege. it is really a privilege for me especially to see you guys and to meet all of you. Especially, of course, to speak in front of John and all the guys, especially Mr. Corner. I'm really happy to see you, Mr. Corner. Okay, Mr. Corner will, of course, have the floor and will talk to you guys. He's a great man, and you will yourself listen to him. But this is not a problem. Why Psls got talent? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, of course, this is not a church. PSL is a school. As Mr. Smith always says, political school for language and science learners. PSLs is a school. And PSLs got talent. You guys, you are talentless. That's what I do believe from the bottom of my heart. That's why we made this PSLs got talent. It means that in the PSLs we have talent, and that's talent that's what made PSLs got talent. And I'm really proud of you guys. And first, thank you for that. What motivates us to make this competition? An idea, ladies and gentlemen, an idea can be individual, but the action is collective. You can have an idea yourself, but the action will not be yourself. It will be collective. Because in English saying, guys, united we stand, of course, right? And the division will fall. It's with you guys, with all of your assistants, you, of course, competitors, that we have made this competition, PS Got Talent, ready or possible. Of course, it was not easy. You saw in the beginning, of course, in the Senate, it was not easy with a lot of things that we did. But today, we made it possible. And we made it possible because all of us, because all together, we decided to make it possible. That's why we made it possible. Myself, I want, of course, a lot of people to be here, but I don't know why others didn't come, but this is not a problem. But of course, you're special because you're here. And I'm too proud. You too special for us. You too specials for us, guys. I'm really happy to see you guys here. Of course, it was not easy. Being at the PSS and learning here, of course, you guys know that it is not easy. It is not easy. Staying at the PSS with all hardship that you have got here. If you're here, spend 1 month, 2 months, or 3 or 6 months. That is not easy. That is not easy. But of course, today we made it, and today we have the final of PSS Got Talent competition. We have the final, and you guys will defend. And I know that everything is already ready because your works are there. And guys, I will not talk too much because Mr. Corner has to speak. And himself, as I always say, he's a speech. And he will also hold his speech. Without too much delay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the meeting of PSLS Got Talent. Thank you for all.
Thank you for the way the contribution that you have just given. And without too much delay, we are going to call Mr. Corner to speak to us about his work experience. Can we clap hands for Mr. Corner? You have 10 minutes.
So, hello everyone. I'm going to try to speak up. First, I'm very glad to be among you. And I think I've never said it before. I owe something to you. And I think it's also an occasion for me to say thank you to you, to everything you have done. And if this center still stands, it's really because of you. And we all have learned something from you. And kudos to Mr. Roger for all the work you have done around here. So I think it's for me personally, it's a great privilege and a joy to. I think I've left this center, this place, altogether. It's been more than 10 years. So the fact for me to come back here and see you guys, to be around you, it's a joy for me. And I brought a lot of people around here, and I've so talented people. I always said, you have all the things you need. You have capabilities, intelligence, level of commitment. So you got it all. All you need is to follow instructions, to follow what John tells you every day. And all of us, I think we are living examples. All of us, we are living examples. Roger and so many people have gone by. We are living examples. So we have gone through a lot of things. And I think what I will tell you right now is my personal story. My personal journey learning English beside this man. And I think you are very privileged to have somebody passionate as is, because oftentimes when you get to a center, it it has a lot of to do with money and things like that. But what is different around here, you have somebody passionate that can level up your English and so many other things. My personal experience is that when I came around here, I was underestimated. It's not. But I just want to tell you that because sometimes obstacles are all you need. All you need to drill on yourself. You need to. If I was not underestimated, maybe I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have the level I have today. I wouldn't accomplish so many other things I've done in my life. So it was a necessary thing for me. And thinking back, retrospectively, I think it was necessary. It was necessary for me. If you are, in whatever you do, underestimated, don't worry about that. So it's like a moment, And I think maybe that's all you need. Because sometimes we get lazy, all of us. We get lazy and we don't want to work. And you need that. So first when I came in, I had a friend of mine, Jibo, who told me about the center. So I was interested at the time. And I brought so many other friends of mine also along with me. We were like 10 people around there, but only me, all of them left, all of them abandoned because it was hard. At the time, John said, I think you are not able to speak English. So he said it was not directly said to me. He didn't speak to me at all. He spoke to a friend of mine who brought me around. So it was like the thing that I needed. I needed that. So I needed to hear that. And
I'm sorry to be harsh. Sorry, that's my part of the story. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
Sorry for
I'm
that.
I'm just saying this because you need to sometimes understand. Because sometimes people leave this place because of that, And sometimes we want to speak too quick, as quick as possible, but it doesn't come along. And you are underestimated. You can go from being underestimated to undeniable. So right now, it's undeniable, from underestimated to undeniable. And I think that's the most important fact you have to keep on your mind. And for me, personally, it was interesting. It was that, the thing I needed to hear at the time, it was really, because I said to myself, the things I've done around here, the things I've done, so many accomplishments in my life at university, and the fact of being underestimated, only not being able to speak a language, it was like an insult for me. And I said, okay, we will see. We will see. And we saw. So we will see. And we see.
We really saw.
Yeah. And so I think it's important. I think the fact that you are here in this place means that you have some interest. You are interested in learning English. You are interested, and hopefully, a couple of months from now, 4 months from now, you'll be great. And I would like to encourage you. I would like to say those words of encouragement to those of you who have felt underestimated, who have felt so powerless. I think it's important. It's a necessary step. A German philosopher once said, obstacles, failures are not failures. Necessary steps you need to reach in order for you to reach success. If you ever never failed in your life, so you cannot know a great success, because you have himself told you that he failed so many times. I myself was underestimated so many times, not necessarily by him, by other people as well. So that's a necessary step, and I think you have to read. That's the secret. There's no other secret besides reading, besides working. So if you have John right here today, he is the product of that reading. He's the product of the work he has put in, and all of you, in some way, you are the product of much. All of us, including Roger and so many other people who have gone back, we are the product of that. Reading, believe in yourself, believe in your capabilities, intelligence, level of commitment. The fact that you are sitting here today means that you have that commitment. right? You have that commitment. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Maybe you would be in some other place. But the fact that you are here today means that you have that commitment. You have that willingness to learn and get better. And I'm on standard.
You still have time. You still have time. It's great.
Great. That's good. That's good. So that's my personal experience. So moving forward, I would like also to say something about my work-related experience, because when I left the center, I think it was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, I left the center and I decided to work on my own. I decided to be on my own and to improve my level, to stay working. And speaking of the BBC was something that I discovered through John, but I also made my personal my personal way of listening to the BBC. And the BBC, I think, is the headmaster. Okay. The BBC, all of us, the BBC is the headmaster. If you want to go as quick as possible, if you want to be able to listen to so many other accents, so many other people, you have British on BBC, you have American on BBC, you have Africans on BBC, you have so many accents, you have so many to learn from, you have so much, to learn from BBC, so much to learn from BBC. So I will encourage you to still listen to the BBC. That's also important. As far as it comes to my work experience, and right now I'm working with Korean people, and I'm in charge of scholarship programs. For those of you, I don't know your personal situation, but for those of you who have some kind of interest in pursuing your master's degree, I think I might have some window of opportunity for you if you are interested. So 1 year from now, 2 years from now, if you have some kind of difficulty, just call me. I'm always available. Just call me. I might give you some opportunities, because we have scholarships for those of you who are interested. So for those who have to pursue a master's degree, or those who intend to somehow be work for the university in the future, be an assistant or professor someday. If you think of that, think of me. You can give me a call and we can work together, right? We can work together, and maybe because for me, there are so many people that have gone back and they have got their scholarships. Today they are everywhere, all over the world. In Korea, not only in Korea, in Europe, and in the United States, and so many other countries. So, if you think of that, if you think of pursuing your career or your studies, I think you think of me. And someday, if you ever felt like down or downsized or underestimated, think of me. So think of my experience. Think of the people that have gone through the center, and the knowledge we acquired through one man and his passion. John told you about his passion, and I think that's all we need to have: passion, intelligence, level of commitment, and that's all you need to have. So if you are not passionate about something, and it may be English, it may be some other endeavor you are doing in your life, passion is the key. If you are not passionate about something, then you can do it luckily. If you love that thing, then you will do it with much passion, and everything will go well for you. So I would encourage you to follow those great examples, to follow John, to follow Roger, to follow so many other great people have gone by, and you learn so much from them. You learn so much from experience. You can learn so much from books. You also have to have some examples. That's what we miss in our society sometimes. We don't have those, authentic, those actual businessmen, or today in our society, so many people want to be either pastors or politicians, because we lack those great examples in business, in so many other fields. And so many people want to be either pastors or politicians because we don't have that. But today, learning English, you have so many other great examples you can follow. You can learn from experience. You can learn not only from books, but also from experience. We learn from books, we learn from experience. We learn from those people who have gone by. And this is the place you need to be. This is exactly the place you need to be. Because otherwise they will tell you so much, and not really the gist of it. What you need to do is to learn. What you need to do is to repeat your lessons. What you need to do is to just to keep learning and never stop. So how much time left?
Thank you, Mr. Connor.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to another step. So, and we have people who have to intervene here, okay? And we're gonna come back to you after. So we still have to keep on the program, okay? So without monopolizing the floor, I'm gonna call Mr. Nicholas to keep up with the next step.
As we said that now we gotta get now the next step, which is to start with our competitors who are here. They have now to start with the first thing, which is the debate. Because today they have two things to deal. They are going to deal with two things. Then we have a look at member Jerry to know what they have to do now.
I'm here to tell people, and we'll listen. Hello? Let me concentrate again. Thank you. This kind of things are very important to you as well, okay? Because when you have people like Carney, Elijah, and so on speaking, this is going to help you to have meaning. It's like an institute.
So, member of jury, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Obed, and I'm here to let you know about the topic of our debate. So, our topic is named, is the advancement of technology the main cause of the multiplication of sin in our world? So, how about with my friend Joshua? We don't agree that the advancement of technology is the main cause of the multiplication of sin in our world. First of all, you have to understand the topic. So,
okay, because today we say that things is very, or every bad thing now is very peculiar. It's very easy to see, okay? Excuse me, today I have a sex between the same sex. Okay, and all these things, you have pornography here, pornography there. And so his question is, technology that we have, because today technology is very, very advanced. So his question is, because of that technology, we have a lot of sins. Is it right or wrong? That's what it means. So, sir, what do you have to say about it? What's your name, please?
David.
There to David. Which is it? What? Okay, Mr. Mubak, speak.
So, hello everyone. Hello. So, to talk about that topic, I would love first to try to explain some keywords to help the audience to well understand exactly what we are going to debate here. In our topic, we have two keywords. The first is technology, and the second is sin. So, what means really technology? Technology is a sort of techniques and the software applications that we use to perform the work of human being or to facilitate the work of human being. And what really means the word sin? The sin is that it can prevent you to not have a good relationship with God. Yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my friend here, David Uma, we agree with the topic that technology is really the main cause.
How do you know he's going to agree with it?
Sorry?
How do you know he's going to agree with it?
Because they told us to agree, given the position.
Oh, really? Do you know how Nigerian people will say, how is that a debate now? So they told you to agree. Oh. I mean, I was not expecting that. But why are you trying to lead such a thing? You're trying to lead a thing where you guys know what are the teams? Okay, you know. Agree. Agree then.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honor for me to partake in this competition. So, according this debate, I think currently the technology is the main cause of multiplication of sins in today's world.
Yeah, but if you, I'm sorry, I don't know what you guys did, but I'm going to disrupt your program. I don't know. Because the idea here, the main thing here is English, right? Yes. The main English here is to be able to speak grammatical English, correctly English, no matter how or whatever you do with the word, okay? Yes. So I'm going to disrupt you. So I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know who agrees with whom, but I'm just going to start to ask questions. So if you agree that technology is, as you agree with him, that technology, but hold on, if he agrees with you, so who are you going to agree with?
I don't agree with you.
Oh, you get yourself, you don't agree with him.
I don't agree with this subject. I don't agree that the advancement of technology is the main cause.
I just get the survey. So they told you give the survey. Ah, okay, so you get no, you just get the survey, but you agree. You're not agreeing. Okay, but I'm gonna stop. So I'm not gonna be agreed and not agreed. Okay, right? Yeah. Good. Sir, but if you think that technology is bringing a lot of we have a multitude of things because of technology. Do you think that we gotta stop it?
Yeah.
No, you didn't get me. Do you think we gotta stop it? I speak quickly, right? I have to slow down. It's okay. Do you think we gotta stop it? Especially when they tell me that I only have 15 minutes, so I have to watch. Sorry. If I speak quickly, tell me to slow down. It's your right. This is democratic. It's your right to say, oh man, is that me? Thank you. So, you say technology brings a lot of things.
Yeah.
You agree with that.
Yeah.
Or you are agreed with that, okay? Now my question is, because you are agreed with that, do you think we gotta stop technology, or we gotta stop the advancement of technology? Or we gotta stand up one day, I don't know who's gonna stand up one day, but somebody gotta stand up and say we stop with technology at schools, at home, in the families, anywhere else.
So we can't stop the technology.
Why?
Because it's good to use only the advantage of technology.
What are
not
the
forgetting
advantages?
the bad things.
What are the advantages of technology?
The one of advantages is, for example, now it's able for everyone to call one person who is foreign, for example. So this is one.
So why do you disagree with the subject?
Okay, thank you for my name is Joshua.
Yeah, we know. Move forward quickly.
Okay. We apart from being told that to be in this lifetime, we don't agree. It's normal for us because.
But I'm sorry, Roger. If you think you agree, just say you agree.
I don't agree.
You don't agree. No, you don't agree because I told you not to agree. You don't agree because you don't agree.
I don't agree.
I don't agree. That's good.
I don't agree because they can also say that the advancement of the education of things. Because now, if we are able to have a Bible electric, Bible electric.
What electric?
Okay. Electric Bible. If nowadays we have mobile phone to call someone to.
Yeah, that's good. But the question here, we got a balance, okay? Yeah. I got two hands, okay? On my right hand, I have. No, this is not right. This is left. On my left hand, nobody told me that this is left. Come on, you guys. And there's somebody. On my left hand, I have scenes. I have a lot of scenes. Can you cut some scenes? You know.
To steal.
Steal again. You're thinking to cut scenes. So you say stealing.
To make prostitution.
Prostitution.
Doing what God doesn't.
Give now. Lying. Scenes.
Since
He was so concentrated on his word that he forget everything.
of course, killing somebody.
Killing somebody, killing.
Envy.
Invade.
Envy, for example, the wild.
Envy.
Yeah.
Envy of what? Because you gotta have the envy to pray, right?
A spouse of another friend, for example.
Sorry?
A spouse of another one.
Envy, yeah, speak. Envy of
A
what?
spouse of
A spouse of
another
somebody
friend.
else. To covet. That's a word, right? Yeah. Do we say covet?
Covet.
Yeah, to covet. So to covet, C-O-V-E-T.
Yeah.
We write it C-O-V-E-T. Covet, converted.
Yeah.
To covet somebody's wife or spouse.
Yeah.
Okay, now, yeah.
Okay, I can continue.
Continue what?
What I'm saying.
No, I said hold on. We're cutting scenes. Do you want to continue with the scenes or? Okay, so in this hand we have scenes, and this hand we have the advantages of technology, which are?
For example,
which are? Quickly.
Phone, making phone,
Damn. Roger,
computer.
this is one of tactics. I'm seeing how quick they are in responding in English. And they're not really quick in that. Go quickly, advantages of technology.
We have a computer for working.
Computer.
Phone for calling other person.
Again?
We have machines for producing goods and so on.
Which machines?
I mean, for example, a tractor.
Tractor, okay. Sir, what about you? Quickly, advantages.
For example, internet.
Internet.
We have some social applications.
Social
like
applications. Okay,
Facebook.
now we got two hands. Okay, here I have scenes and here I have the advantages of technology. So the question I'm going to put on all of you, because some of you are agreed and some of you are not. So scenes and advantages. So what are you going to elect? What are you going to vote for? Yeah.
Okay, again, I must remind them, first of all, that when we speak about technology, it's so physically, and since it's so spiritual, we cannot conclude that, we cannot say that since is the only reason which pushes the men. The technology is the reason which pushes someone to sin.
Yeah, but technology makes it easy.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know, let's take the example of pornography. Before to have access to before to have access, so back in the days, to have access to pornography, it was very hard. Okay, and back in the days we knew that those things of parental things, and there were some discs and so on. But today it's very easy. Anybody in the world, I say anybody, no matter what age, anybody in the world, if they got a smartphone, they're gonna have access to pornography. So pornography came and made it very easy.
Let me tell you, pornography is not just the fact of watching a video in the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's that again?
If you are...
Explain us what you mean. Interesting.
The fact of seeing someone...
So SSU so it's pornography?
No, the fact of seeing someone necklace,
It's pornography.
It's pornography.
Really?
In some villages in Equator, I can call it. Equator and some,
yeah.
there are people who are used to take bath in the river. And
the river?
It's a kind of pornography.
Wow. What do you think about it? What you think?
First of all, I want to remind you our topic.
Yeah.
The topic is about is the advancement of technology the main reason of the multiplication of sin.
Yeah.
So I say that I don't agree with that because technology is there just to facilitate things to be done. So I was saying that technology doesn't affect the fact that sins are multiplied.
Yeah, but the fact that it makes it easy, don't you think it's a problem?
No, it's a way to facilitate, not to multiply.
Yeah, but something that can facilitate you to do something better. You know what the Bible says? If your eye brings you to sin, you gotta.
When technology came after, is nowadays the main of multiplication of sin. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you one example. Nowadays we can see our young sisters and brothers, particularly sisters, are dealing with prostitution just because they want to get iPhone 11, 12, and 20. And iPhone is one of the advancements of technology. Because just they want to get it and it leads them even to deal with prostitution and other people.
And you need to bracket
and to multiply citizen more.
It's in the world.
For sure.
And hold on. In bracket, I don't know if that's what you know yesterday. I heard somebody saying now.
Thank you.
I figured that sentence, sorry. I heard somebody say he now understands why ladies like iPhones. Because if you see, it's only a lot of ladies like iPhones. They say it's very simple. When we go back in the days in the creation of the world, the story of the devil and the woman with the apple. You see, iPhone gets and it's the lady who went, and that's why they love iPhone. Thank you, sir.
wonderful debates that we have seen just now. And before moving to the next step of this competition, let us first call Mr. Elijah Ndambo, who is going to tell us some secrets and experience of a former winner of Psls English Award of Honor. Let's clap in for him when he's standing.
First, Elijah was the first. Elijah, let me tell it publicly. He is the assistant who speaks many languages. I want to say he's a scholar in languages. Of course, with John, there are guys who speak a lot of languages. How many languages, sir, do you speak?
9.
He speaks 9. Everybody catches me, right? He speaks 9 languages. He is not a Luba, but he speaks a Luba with a Luba accent. He is not a Swahili, but he speaks Swahili with that Swahili accent. This man is a scholar.
Thank you, everybody. It's always a pleasure. I always feel energized when I come back to the Psls. And I remember 6 years ago, we happened to be in the same circumstances with the same competition. It still makes me laugh. Remember the very day I happened to start, learning my English here. I just graduated from the high school, and Daniel just brought me here, and it was something like 6 p.m. And I just came around and was like,
Is he in the room, Daniel?
no, he is not.
Does he speak English?
Yeah, Daniel Kalinga.
Oh, Kalinga.
Yeah. So basically, the man brought me, and we still had 2 levels, the first and the second one. But the moment I came across, and that was like the second level directly, and I was like, this is the way that people learn English here. And I was like, they were teaching people, the give what you have, the TD Jack's way. That was like, hey, brothers and sisters, I'm happy to be here. So I was like, no, this is not my level.
Yeah.
And I was like going my way back, and Papa just came and said, man, can you just come back? Get in. And I got in. And I was sitting down there when I just listened to the lessons, and I told him, this is not my level. It was in French, basically. And they said, it's fine, you're gonna go down there. The first level, which is down there.
Yeah.
And we started learning English.
That was like how many years now?
6
years now.
No, I started learning in 2014.
2014.
Yeah, 2014. So basically, the passion, the poverty, Roger, Joshua, and all the systems, really gave me the envy to learn more English. And I was determined, and up to the point that I won the prize. And basically, as of my work experience, I will tell you something. It's great to have a passion, but English has become a must, basically. You don't have any way out. You have to. So feel passionate somehow to learn your English, work on it. Basically, I can tell how many doors English has opened for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I remember one day I was working with a large corporate, Liquid Intelligent Technology, basically the first one. So we were in the elevator, people coming around the world, from UK, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, and we were in the elevator. They were like, hey guys, how are you? Yeah, fine, and you? Where you come from Alabama? And I was like, yeah,
So you said you came from Alabama?
Yeah, for a lot of people would say Chicago.
That's Chicago.
That's an amazing city. And they were like, that's an amazing city. I really appreciate it. And by the end of the day, I was like, no, guys, I've never traveled before.
Yeah.
I'm from here. They were, really? That's amazing.
That's great.
So it's a gift to have such an institution like the Psls.
Absolutely.
They actually give you the tool to not only learn your English languages, but to be proud of yourself, to be determined and to give the best you can, no matter what you're dealing with. So, and I've joined Deloitte recently, and the key was English. We know finances, we know accounting, but they were looking for somebody who really speaks English like a native speaker. So that's the point. So I do encourage you, you have the chance to be...
Can you tell people how do you get to Deloitte?
So I applied for the job. Basically, they were looking for an A2 assistant to work with finance and get the audits. And then I applied. And we went through the test, accounting and the finances, audit and everything. But the interview was in English.
Okay.
45 minutes.
Which was easy for you, right?
Yeah, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah, thank
So
God.
basically, it's important to work on your English, be passionate, do your best, join the PSLS, road is still there, a couple of assistants are still there, they're gonna help you. So I do encourage you, let's keep up with the same level. Thank you very much.
From our brother Elijah. And now, without too much delaying, we are going to call Mr. Roderick, who is also going to tell us. Yeah, after Mr. Elijah, as I said, we are now going to call Mr. Roderick, who is going to tell us some of his experience and some of his secrets. And by the way, let me remind you that after just him, we'll call also Mr. Fabrice. Please, we can clap it for Mr. Roderick.
In the competition that we organized, the PSS Award, PSLS, I want to say PSS Got Talent. In PSS English Award of Honor, Roderick was the third. Gaston was the second, he's in Korea.
Oh, Gaston is in Korea?
He is in Korea.
So you
Of course, thanks.
You're the basketball man. You're the basketball man.
And Mr. Corner is the master. As he said it when he was speaking, if you want scholarships, of course, of Koika, Japan, meet Mr. Corner. Of course, at the end you can make an acquaintance with him. He's a cool guy. That's why I said this is an opportunity for the PSL, for you guys. It's thanks. Pablo said it, if you were not Mr. Corner, of course, we could, I don't know. If you were not PSLS, you could not meet Mr. Corner. It's thanks to the PSLS that you met Mr. Corner. We kept contact still today. It's thanks to Mr. Corner that all the guys, Roderick and others, get scholarships. At the end, as I said, you can be, he's a great, Mr. Corner is a great man, don't forget.
I mean, a little thing that tells me, are you on the next one?
By God's grace, no, by God's grace.
Oh, yeah, of course. So you gotta think about your backup here, man. Because I don't want my PSS to be empty as well.
By God's grace, I can be the next to go, by God's grace. Thank you, bro.
It's really a pleasure for me to speak in front of John and in front of Corney, because I'm going to relate you a bit of story of myself, how I reached even this level, how I came to the PSLS, how I started my journey learning English here. So, Roger sent me a message saying that, guy, you want to talk at the final, so come on, I'm not a good speaker. And please, don't overestimate my English, and don't over-expect out of my speech. I'm not a good speaker, and I don't want to disappoint you. So, after graduating from university, I had nothing to do. I was a jobless, job seeker, as everyone. So my friend here, Corney, saw that I was also interested in English. Said, "Oh, guy, I started teaching English. If you want, you can come and join others to learn English together." I said, "Oh, what a good opportunity." Then I joined my friend. Both of us were job seekers and jobless. Then he started teaching me English because I was really passionate about English. And then after 3 months, I think, Corney got a job at Koika. He had to go. He didn't have time anymore to teach us. Then he advised me to come at the PSLS to learn English. I said, okay. Then I came at the PSLS, I met Pavli and Roger and the other assistants. And I could not start with nice to meet you because I already had a certain level there. My level was checked. I had a test. Then after the test, they considered me as a student having certain level. So I started with all the practices beside nice to meet you. Then 3 months later, they said, okay, we're going to have a competition. But when I arrived at the PSLS, I didn't even think or imagine that I could have participated in a competition, because folks that I've met, they had a really wonderful level in English. I could not stand with them. So no. But 3 months later, they said, okay, we're organizing the competition. And then I said, okay, because I'm a competitor, I like challenges in my life. And I said, okay, let me take this opportunity to try to improve myself. I didn't even think that I was going to reach the final. And during the first performance, I'm telling you that my first performance was everything awful. It was that bad, and I said to myself that after this competition, I need to drop. I had to drop out of the competition because that was not my level. It was a poor performance. But fortunately for me, the team has organized kind of coaching. I had a coach, Osalina, who is now in Canada. So Osaliva coached me with Stone. Gaston was actually the second in the competition. He's now in South Korea. And I was also working with my friend Joe. You know, we're working under the bush and we're screaming, not screaming, but practicing loudly our English, you know, back at that time where we had to preach like TDJX, you know, TDJX stuff. That was not really my thing as well. So I kept on working with Joe and Osaliva and Stone in the bush. Then after, the path was not that smooth sailing, you know. There were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of pitfalls. But ultimately, I reached the final. And I was among the winners, you know, among the three winners of the competition. You know, I was invited to speak about my experience, my personal experience as one of the winners of the competition. And when I was thinking about what I was going to say, I said to myself, you know, when you are among the winners, it means it's a kind of achievement. When you speak about achievement, we look at what we call success. So my speech today is going to revolve around success. So let's delve into the nitty-gritty. When you speak about success, I said, what is the secret to success? There are a lot of videos, you know, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Snapchat. You have a lot of motivational speeches about success. So I'm not going to tell you something new. But the newness of my speech will really lies on my personal experience. I reached the final back in 2016. So what we did was hard working. That's the secret. Everybody knows it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to define hard working. Everybody knows it. But it's easy to speak about hard working, to define the word hard working, that to make it into practice. Hard working requires sacrifice. John said here that English story is teenage, you know, because when you make sacrifice, it means that you have to abandon certain things that you like. You know, when I started learning English, especially when I was preparing the competition, I had to read every day, not 10, I didn't have to repeat 10 times, but I had to go beyond. Sometimes I was reviewing 20 times or 30 times. I had to go to scream under the bush with my friends. I kept that momentum for around a month. That's what really helped me a lot, because you know, the path to success, as I've said, is really full of pitfalls. You have to fail before you may get to success, because failure for me, unlike what other people say, I think they may be right, but personally I do think, of course I may be also wrong, that failure and success are not mutually exclusive. It means that they interact. They are somehow related, of course negatively related, which means that if you have to succeed, you need to fail. Because when you fail, you understand your mistake. You understand what you need to do best so that you may achieve your goals. You understand what are your weaknesses on which you have to work. You understand what are the mistakes that you have made that you need to correct to succeed. We have learned that the guy who have invented, how do you call it, the bird, he failed. He failed a lot of times, but the guy didn't drop out. You know, the guy continued working with determination. It doesn't mean that if you fail, you keep on making the same mistakes that you're gonna succeed. No, when you fail, you need to take time to think about what caused your failure. Then when you realize what caused your failure, then you can succeed. Because we say, if you don't diagnose, you cannot cure. You need to know the causes of your disease, the causes of what you got as a failure, so that you may succeed. So my personal experience is I've just exchanged with you lies on hard working with passion. When you're passionate about something you want to do, I was really passionate about English. Of course, I was afraid of guys who were with me because most of them spent much time learning English. I just came here at the Psls. I didn't know, of course, I had some basic knowledge in English, but the level they had with giving what you have, that was not my level. It was quite complicated for me. So that really helped me a lot to reach the final and realize what I could realize after that competition. Thank you so much.
As we have heard, he was among winners, okay? And he said something special about sacrifice. He sacrificed everything. And so what was really good for us, and thank you for your motivations. And so now, can we please clap in again for him? Okay, thank you too much. And as I said, after just him, we are about to call now Mr. Fabrice, who is going also to tell us about some of his experience and some secrets that made him who he is today. And I want just to remind someone, Mr. Dick, that after just Mr. Fabrice, you're gonna also have the speech to tell us some of your experience when you were in China. Okay, thank you.
Hello everybody. I'm very happy to be here in front of you. It's a great privilege for me to come back here to see my guys. It's a great pleasure because I have spent a lot of time without coming here, and you don't know how much I'm happy to be here. So I'm going to share with you a little of my experience. Firstly, my experience with English and my personal experience, what English brought me in my life. So I was studying here at campus here at the Faculty of Economics, and English was already my passion far before. And also I did my high school at the Groupe Scolaire of Moamba, and from there I loved English. And the breakthrough with me was the time where I discovered the Bible, and I got that Bible, it was in English. And I was reading it and using a dictionary. And when I used the dictionary with the reading, it was helping me a lot with that. So I already increased my level. And I remember it was, I think, 2 years before graduating, I met a friend of mine, he's Gershom, he's not here. And he told me that there is a center, it is very good. If you get there, you're gonna improve your English. So when I came there, I can tell you that I wasn't disappointed. I loved the atmosphere, the way the teaching was done, and I was very happy. And I corrected many of my mistakes there. And I don't know if Roger could remember, I didn't spend a lot of time to improve my English. And very quickly, they proposed me to become an assistant here. And things got very quick. When I graduated from the university, and I was about to start my professional life. But for me, I loved school a lot. I read a lot. I wanted to pursue my education. But unfortunately, I had a guy like you to help me to get a scholarship. My experience with scholarship all the time is a failure. I tried with Koika. I got there at the office. You know those guys, how they are. And the clean offices and all those stuff. So I didn't consider myself worthy to work with them. So I wasn't very resilient to pursue the process to get the scholarship. So I gave up with them. And I was also working in another project with the Chinese government scholarship. I remember I talked with Dick at the time. We're doing the process and we're waiting. I think you succeeded, you got to China. But I failed. I failed once more, I don't know why. I tried everything, I failed again. But because I was so passionate about that, I persevered. But I was short of resources and I have to do my best to survive at the time. So I decided to look for a job. And quickly, I got us a job. I passed by Deloitte like him.
Oh, really?
I passed the test, yeah. I passed the test, but I was recruited as an auditor. I think you're an accountant there. Yes, and you accountants are good. You are better off. But for auditors, it was tough, I tell you. I resigned after 2 months.
Really?
Yes, and the pay, the salary was good, but I couldn't sustain that. It was a lot of pressure.
Then the hard-working conditions.
Yeah.
Then the hard-working conditions.
Not much working condition, but stressful conditions.
Stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after just 2 months, I resigned. I stopped and I came back to my previous project of traveling abroad. So I talked to my father and some other guys, they agreed to pay for my schooling without a scholarship. And I chose a very simple option. I decided to go to Cyprus because you can get there without a visa. So I did the process and I got there. I studied for 2 years, but because I came late, I had to pass to the English school again before going to the department. I did it very well and I went to the department for 2 years and I did a specialization in business administration. So I got an MBA there. Wow. And from there I tried to go to England, but my father told me that I'm short of money, you grew up, and I have to look to your brother too. So I was obliged to come back here. So I came back here in DRC at the time. I tried also to try again with embassies and to get scholarship. It was again a failure. And I remember even in Cyprus, I did the other process of the scholarship to deal directly with the universities. I passed even the interviews with Chinese. And I failed because I couldn't get a recommendation from a professor from there. I failed again. So I came back in DRC here. I tried with the Max scholarship too. I went to the embassy. I was proud. I knew that I came from abroad, and I even took the IELTS. I have a very high grade. I tried here too, but I failed again. So I don't know. Maybe my place is here in Congo. So after a while, I decided to look for a job here too. And finally, I got an offer, a job offer at the center. No, it was first an internship. I did an internship at the CPCC, Conseil Permanent de la Comptabilité au Congo. It's a specialized service of the finance ministry. Yeah, I got there and I passed the test and I was recruited there. This is also the place where I'm still working there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My brother works there.
Oh, really?
His name is Stéphane Kalou.
Yeah, he's my director. My direct director. Yeah, my boss.
That's my brother. That's my brother.
Really?
Yeah.
A great man.
Sorry?
From a student.
Who's the brother?
Yeah, the husband, of course, of the lady.
Of who?
The lady.
David?
Yeah, the girl of Egypt.
Who? No, it doesn't speak about Egypt. No, it's CPC. Yeah, CPC. Yeah.
So this is a place where I'm still working, and thankfully, according to the rules of our institution, after 3 years, you're going to be allowed to pursue your education with half salary. So I have already spent 1 year now, and I'm waiting for the other part. Maybe I will see. Maybe this time it's gonna work. So this is a bit, this is a bit of my story. So just to tell you that you are at the right place, not just to improve your English, but also to accomplish great things because of the inspiration that you're going to get here. There are great stories here. There are people abroad that are studying, that are learning, and I'm sure that many among you also are going to do the same. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
As he said, that becoming great in life needs sometimes to be surrounded by great people, as we have today. Okay, and after that, let's call now Mr. Dick, who is going to tell us about some of his secrets. Can you get that for him, please?
Okay, my name is Dick Mangalaboy. Wow.
If I were in this place, I would say my name is D. And stop there.
Okay, I came with the PSLS in 2012. At that time I was still in school. I think the first day I came, I found Mr. John. He's the one who caught me up. I came directly from school. I had my uniform at that time. Can you imagine now I'm short? At that time I was short. I came directly from school and got in the class. I first came during the week, and I found Mr. Solution, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, may his soul rest in peace.
And also Mr. Trezor and Bangeles also.
Bangeles, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
And they told me to come. I assisted during the week, and they told me to come on Saturday to be caught up. I came just after class. I came directly, and I was caught up. I think that day I was caught up. I think with Favori. If I remember.
Are you the one who came with your brother and sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My brother was before at the PSLS. He's the one, Joseph, he's the one who called me, and after that he left. I called all my family, and all of them left. I was the only one. I was the only one left at the PSLS in 2012. And at the end of 2012, I was proposed to become assistant. I think at that time I was together with Ghislaine. Mr. John knows him very well, and he was calling us the I can say the eldest of the center. With Ghislaine also. And and in 2012, at the end of the year, I was proposed to become an assistant. And that's how I became an assistant at the PSLS. So now it's, I think, 10 years right now, since I was an assistant at the Psls. I graduated from high school in 2014, and I went to the university where I did agronomy. I went to the faculty of agronomy. I spent 3 years. When I was at the second year, I tried, as Mr. Fabri said, we're trying together to travel, and I tried with China. At the time, I tried with the English scholarship, because to go to China, you can study, do your major in English or to do your major in Chinese. So I tried with the English scholarship. Unfortunately, it didn't work. When I reached the third level, I also tried, but the one who was helping me to do the process tell me like this: there is another opportunity to also go to China, but to study in Chinese, but not in English. With that process, that option, there are not many people. Then try. I tried. It was in 2017, and I got a scholarship. And that's how I traveled. I went in September 12th. I left. I even did a session. I did my exams, everything. And a week after, many people didn't believe that I traveled, because I spent all the time with them. I did all my exams as if nothing worked. And I traveled in 2017. I should first do 1 year of Chinese. 1 year of Chinese before studying my major. My major was environmental engineering. So I spent 1 year. There is a test, they call it HSK 4, that you have to pass when you finish your training of Chinese. Then I passed it. I could not do my major in Chinese. So that's how I studied. In 2020, I decided to come back, just during the winter vacation. Then I came back here, and the COVID, everything, so I was forced to stay here and to study online. So I just defended 1 month ago, and I graduated online. Yeah, I just defended one month ago, and everything was in Chinese. I defended in Chinese, and my thesis was in Chinese. Everything was in Chinese.
So that's why we want to hear you speaking.
Yeah, I'm going to
just imagine that we also Chinese people. You don't care if you understand or not, just speak.
Is this the one who tried even to learn Chinese?
No, we don't care. We don't care, just speak. You're not listening. You're not speaking Chinese.
I don't want people to say that I lied to you.
No, don't lie. Even if you lie, speak now.
Okay, I'm going to speak right now. But before speaking, I'm just going to give you an advice, a small piece of advice. I want you to be hungry. I don't know if you know Les Brown. He always say be hungry. That's the hunger that I had in learning languages. I'm astonished that Elijah can speak 9 languages, man. Congratulations. For the time being, I can speak 6 languages, but I'm going to do my best to speak more. Among which I can also speak Spanish and English, French, and so on. So how did I learn Spanish? When I reached China, the guys before who were in the same room, my roommates, I was astonished, were from Equatorial Guinea. When I entered the room, my bedroom, I tried to speak to them in French. They were not catching me. I tried in English, they were not catching. Then I asked the Chinese who was near me, I asked him, why these guys cannot respond to me when I speak French and when I speak English? He said, no, they are from Equatorial Guinea. So in Equatorial Guinea, they speak Spanish. Wow. That day, I told them, I tried to speak in English because there was a guy who was speaking a little bit of English among them. They were free. I told him, tell your guys, from today on, we're going to speak Spanish in this room. At that time, I spent just 1 month. Mr. John tried to teach us some basics of Spanish. I think I even ran away from the classes. But when I reached that day, the room, I told them that from today on, we're going to speak Spanish. That's how I learned Spanish, living with them. And from time to time, they were even laughing at me. But I was learning. That's how I spoke Chinese. I spoke Spanish. So I'm going to speak a little bit of Chinese, and we're going to keep on with the program. 大家好，我叫联盟，我来自康国清，我过来。Just a minute.
No, continue.
I'm just going to introduce myself in Chinese. 大家好，我叫联盟，我来自康国清，我今年26岁了，所以我过来这边，我邀请你们要把你们的语言学好，因为一个语言会给你们很多的机会，比如我以前我给了我的英语一个机会。现在我可以说汉语，我可以说西班牙语，我可以说英语，我可以说法语。
It's a great thing. It was a really good, and what I kept is being hungry of learning languages. Okay, it was a really good thing, and don't worry about people who laugh at you. I mean, it's a great piece of advice that we learned today, and so we can really clap in for our forefathers of the Psls.
Can I interrupt the program a little bit?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello. Okay, I'm happy to see you tonight. So I'm going to tell you something which put me to learn English. Before I to come to the Psls, before coming to the Psls, which put me. So when I graduated, and my father got a job for me. So I went over there. They told me that I have to speak English, and in that time I didn't speak and I didn't know. Even at the university, I didn't want to speak English. If we have English class, I didn't want to assist. It was like this. So when I graduated and I saw the importance of English, and when I went where they told me to work, they told me that I have to speak English. And after that, I told my father that they say I have to speak English before I to work. So it was really difficult for me. And my father told me that you have to look for a son so that you may be learning. And I decided to look for a son. So I went first of all at Victory. There is a son over there. They call it Monimas. Yeah. First of all, I went over there. As it was, I said I have to go to Monimas so that if. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to try to be short. And over there I said I can miss money's transportation. It will be difficult for me to go to the class. And I decided to come here at the Psls, and I came. I met. It was Pavodi and Project. They presented me the center, and they told me, and they gave me some information, and I began to learn. And it was not easy for me. I was not among best students. I was not among best students, but I did my best to speak. And when I came at the Psls, I decided that I cannot leave the Psls without speaking. And I decided to stay an assistant here at the Psls. That's why today you see I'm speaking and I'm speaking.
That's really good. Before she was not among the best, but now she said after being at the Psls, she's among the best. Let's clap in again for her. Okay, now we have to keep on with our program. As I'm not alone, let me call Miss Augustine, who is going to tell you the second step of this competition.
Okay, thank you. So thank you all for nurturing us with your experiences. Okay, and we are really so happy for that. So without too much delay, we're gonna call Mr. David Mabola, who's gonna present, who is going to speak about his topic, which is entitled the impact, okay, of ICT. ICT on performance of companies. So now you have 4 minutes.
Dear members of jury, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to stand in front of you today to present you my work in the culture of Psls Got Talent, which is entitled The Impact of Information and Communication Technology for Performance of Enterprises. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays any company in this world can well work or to be performed without using technologies. Just because they notice that those advancements of technology gives them some tools and a software application which help them to produce products of good quality and to make services of good quality. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays you can see a company is an organization that offers many services to customers. They get a lot of activities, and after that they have to manage day in, day out. For them to manage all of those information, they need something which is sophisticated, who could help them to perform that work. That's why they call on technology. Ladies and gentlemen, then we can speak about companies without speaking about technology. We can speak about technologies without speaking about company. Now, before giving you some example, we could help you to understand my present work. I'll have first to speak with some keywords. In my present work, I have just 2 keywords. The first is ICT, or Information and Communication Technologies. What is ICT? ICT is a set of techniques and a computer equipment that we use to perform the work of a human being or to communicate at a distance. And in addition, what is a company or an enterprise? An enterprise is an organization which offers services to customers. And those companies get some goals. For them to reach those goals, they call on technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a look in the field of communication in companies. Companies to communicate nowadays, let's try to take a look in the past. They use letters to communicate, but nowadays, thanks to technology, all of us will get mobile phones and internet, which help them to communicate, even in the people who are in foreign countries, with customers who are around the world, ladies and gentlemen. Nowadays, we are talking about agriculture of precision. That I mean, we are using robots and machines which help people or human beings to perform their work. In the past, it was difficult for enterprises to perform or to produce many products. Nowadays, they're using machines and the robots which help them to perform the work that human beings could do in one day, but they are doing it in a few times thanks to technology. Nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, selling products, we don't need just to selling products, we are using some advancement of technologies such as internet, which have those companies full websites and the social media that you are using nowadays to enjoy your time. Those companies are using those advancement of technologies to sell their products online. Ladies and gentlemen, as I don't have much time to speak a lot, I'm going to conclude by saying that those technology has really influencing companies who are using those technology to be more performant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As you have defended for 2 minutes, I have read your work, and as usual, I see French things. I see French things in page 31. It is written ouvrage. Why ouvrage? Everything could mean English. Revue or article, no. Everything could be in English. There's no. Everything, I told you, I made you that remark. And everything has to be in English. As I always say, when you of course, the conclusion is there. And list of contents, it is better to write table of contents as usual. It is not bad. List of content, but commonly people often write table of contents. Okay, thank you. Without too much delaying, I just have one question. My question is the following: what motivated you to choose this topic, and why just this topic? Why not others?
Thanks to Mr. Roger for the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, you should know that I'm a student. I'm studying English and computer science. That means computer science is my domain. Things which motivated me to choose that topic is I noticed that in our country, many companies doesn't use technologies in their companies to perform the work. That's why I decided to show the importance of information and communication technologies for my work to help those companies to notice the importance of those technologies for performing their daily activities. That's why I chose only that topic to inform those companies to know the importance of technology for improving their activities.
Okay, thank you. You chose this topic. Okay, thank you. I will give the floor to Rodrigue Lekeleme.
Nowadays, people used to say that technology, the advancement of technology, especially with AI, artificial intelligence, could replace human beings, and there is a danger, so we need to watch out. What is your point on this regarding, because you have spoken about the advancement of ICT?
Jerry, for your question. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you that, you know, in life, anything in this world doesn't have just good side. That I mean, anything has also bad side and good side. This is the case of technology. By using artificial intelligence, for sure, it can perform the work of human being. But nowadays, we can see some people became unemployment. They became jobless through technology. For sure, it has advantages which help companies to perform their work, to be fast and quick. But one of disadvantages of that advancement of technology is that people became unemployment. And those technologies take the place of human being. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
For a country like the DRC, how do you think that we can smoothen or cushion the impact of the advancement of technology given the rate of unemployment here? Now, what's your point in terms of cushioning the impact?
For sure. Thanks a lot for your question. You know, nowadays, our country is an undeveloped country. And if we can see USA nowadays to be the first country in the world, they have many strengths. And among them strengths, we can see technology. What I can encourage our governments nowadays is to apply technology to bring our country to go ahead. Because without technology, no work in our country can't be performant or to be good. For us to be developed country, or to become as other country that we're aspiring to become as a developed country, we need to apply technology. And I can advise our governments to use those investment of technology to bring our country to go ahead.
Okay, thank you too much. We can clap in for
Mr. David Gumuma, you have the floor.
Member of jury, assistant, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Firstly, I thank God for the knowledge, because at the beginning it wasn't easy. I wasn't sure that I will be in the final, but today I'm in the final. So, according to my work, the title is The Evolution of the Conjunctural and Structural Policy of the Congolese State and its impact on socio-economic, on the development of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, as you know, a man said that if you want to reach all your goals, you must have many ways for getting much money. Because if you have only one way for getting money, it will be possible. Because the day where that way will be blocked, that's all about you. So if you have many ways, it's good for you. It's the same for our government. When a government has many ways for getting much money, it can help him for helping the country for going ahead. So for our government, according to my work, we have just 19 companies which are creating by our country. So you know that it's not enough. Apart from that, if I take an example of the ruling party, during the competition for leading the country, each of competitors are using to saying that when I have power, I will give you easily the job. You will eat, and after, if he has that power, you will see that the members of those political party are used to saying that it's our time now. Our time is happening. Our time is happening. We have to eat now. They don't say we have to steal now, but they are there for stealing. You know, that's one reason that our country still in poverty, still underdeveloped. So, after being selected, you will see that he's not there for the citizen interest. He's there for his own interest. He's there for enriching for himself. That's not good. So, if you want a change, a really change in this country, we must have a good leader. If you see our budget, during many years, our budget was still quieter. Just with the strengthening of control by the General Inspectorate of Finance, we saw now a little change. We saw a little change. It starts increasing. So it's not enough because the good is coming yet. So we need a good leader who can help this country for going ahead. Some politicians are used to selecting some people just because he's from his family. I don't know, his political family is not good. We have many people here. We have citizens who are using to saying every day we are suffering, we are not job. It's difficult for us to find job. So that's why it's good for a country to have a good leader, because a man say that it's not a bad troop, it's only a bad leader. Brothers and sisters, members of jury, when the government intervenes in the economic situation, I mean in the social life, he is using two materials. Firstly, we have budgetary policy and monetary policy. And monetary policy is for a short time, but the budgetary policy is sometimes for a short time and for a long time also.
Can you conclude, please?
So, in a long time, you will find that it's just for creating many companies and a good one. Because if you have a good companies with a serious services, it will help the country to have much money. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it's good for us. It's good for us to have a good leader. So, as this work as just for our learning, I ask for the member of you to pay attention, and for some shortcoming, I think we will do our best for the next day.
Thank you. I've been reading your work. Interesting. So basically, one question. So you mentioned corruption and embezzlement is one of the keys to the DRC issues, basically. But what do you think of the importance of institutions in terms of a country like Namibia, Kenya? Wow, for the last 20 years. What do you think? Do you think it's only a matter of leaders, or it's much more a question of institutions? For the case of the DRC, what do you think?
So, the real problems are about the one who are working, about civil services. Because we have the good text in our country, but the they are not all, applied. If we applied all those texts, we will change this country. That's why the way for changing this situation is, firstly, Congolese, our Congolese citizens want, the washing brain first, and after a good training, that we can make a good selection. Without this, it's not possible for us to change this situation.
The topic that you've chosen is quite interesting, and I've gone through your work, but I had just a small question. You've spoken about the conjectural and structural policy of the Congolese state. So basically, I wanted to have your view on the weaknesses and strengths of both conjectural and structural policies, because they are two different things. So what are their weaknesses, and which policy do you advise for a country like DRC?
For a country, it's better to use both of them, because the conjunctural policy is just for changing a situation during a short time, but the structural is for changing situation in a long time. In other words, it means in a structural policy, the government must do something for changing, for transforming the economy. The government must create companies for having much money, because if you haven't, for example, currently we have a war between Ukraine and Russia. It's a good opportunity for countries who produce, for example, cereals, petrol, gas, and so on. So where is our country? We are waiting for the petrol from Russia instead of making it ourselves. It's not normal in a country with many potentials than DRC. It's not normal. That's why we have some persons who are used to contract with the foreign companies, because they know that after their contract, they have some persons. It's one of who killing this country.
Okay, thank you.
Member of jury, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. I'm happy to be in front of you today because I'm going to present my work, and my work is named Becoming a Pilot. I know that many people used to dream to become a pilot, but it's sometimes difficult for them to reach the goal. So first of all, I will tell you about the contents of my work. Instead of quoting them, I will just give a shortcut of the content of my work. So the shortcut is the way to become a pilot. So the key word of my work is pilot. So first of all, you have to understand who is a pilot. So I want you to understand that the pilot is the one controlling an aeroplane. So we cannot be talking about a pilot without mentioning aircraft. An aircraft is a big machine helping us to move from a continent to another. Like right now we are in Africa. If you want to go in Europe or America, you have to use that big machine that the pilot controls so that you can reach that place. So right now I want you to understand how you can manage things to become a pilot. So first of all, you have to be good in English, because English is the first language for aviation. First of all, you have to be good in English. And the second thing is that you will be dealing with a medical exam. So you will go see a medical doctor, and the doctor will check you. So first of all, the doctor will have to check if you have good eyesight, because for a pilot, in the past, it was prohibited for a pilot to wear glasses. But nowadays, we got grace to wear glasses. But in the past, it was difficult. But as now we got that possibility, so we can even remove the case of eyes, but you have to get good ears, because you will have to communicate with the air traffic control and other planes. So you have to be in a good state of health for you to become a pilot. You don't need too many degrees, you just have to graduate it from high school, and that's all. So you can be now a student pilot. So in aviation, for you to become a pilot, You will be first a student pilot. After that, you will be a private pilot. So we got some acronyms. We got SPL, which stands for Student Pilot License. We got PPL, which stands for Private Pilot License. And we got CPL, which stands for Commercial Pilot License. And the last one is ATPL. This one is not an obligation, but it's recommended, because if you want to become a captain in the cockpit, like the men on board, you have to done the ATP license, but it's not an obligation, it's just recommended. But I know some pilots who are just co-pilots because they just stopped with the CPL. They didn't reach the side of ATP license. So for you, when you're a student pilot, you have to become first a private pilot. So for you to become a private pilot, you will deal with 8 written exams, 2 oral exams, and 45 hours of flight. In that license, you will have to make a solo flight. So you just have to be concentrated and really follow all instructions from your instructor so that you can really become a private pilot. But when you're a private pilot, you don't have all privileges of pilot because you're still a private pilot. And privileges of a private pilot is just to drive a single engine plane. So you're not able to fly a multi-engine plane because you're still a private pilot. For you to drive multi-engine planes, you have to deal with commercial pilots. And this is the most difficult part of being a pilot or becoming a pilot. I don't have much time, but to conclude, I will tell you that to become a pilot is not really difficult, but you just have to make sure that you have enough money so that you can pay all fees at school for you to become a pilot. That's all about my topic.
Fine. I mean, his topic is hilarious. And the way he speaks is, well, for those who don't know, maybe for Horny, the guy is a pilot. That's right? He's a pilot. He's studying in South Africa. So he's here only for some time, right? For his internship. But he said to me that he lost his English, so that's why he wanted to get back. So his topic is really hilarious because he tells us how to become a pilot. We don't want to become pilots. Thank you, that's it. Thank you.
Really exciting to listen to as well. Quite hilarious, as Mr. John just said. Last time I was reading on the news, and I read that there was a plane flying from, I think, Ethiopia to other African countries. So the pilots slept overnight, so they bypassed they could not land because they bypassed. Then when they woke up, it was already 10 miles away from the place they should land. From that perspective, I think, because you mentioned about having a good eyesight, even though with technology this condition is no more prominent. But I think only from that perspective, don't you think that this condition is kind of it's a discriminative condition for those for disabled people? And my second question would be, what would you advise to those who want to become pilots in a country like DRC where we don't have a lot of airlines companies?
So please, can you please know that as a pilot, you are not called to be so focused on the cockpit. You can even sleep like passengers because we do have autopilot. So the job of the pilot is just to take off and land. We are acting as all passengers during flights. If I have a flight of 8 hours, it's too much, I have to sleep. So like you, the passenger, I will be sleeping because I know that the autopilot is going to do the job. But I just have to wake up before the landing. So I think that pilot was just a bit more tired. That's why he passed by the airport.
Then how are you going to do to wake up before landing?
You can put your alarm. So for the second question, the advice I will give you Congolese people is that it's difficult for us to deal with aviation in Congo because we don't have school of aviation. So people used to go abroad to have the education of being a pilot. So the advice will be to maybe make a proposal to our governments to look for a way to send people abroad so that they can learn and search out to become a pilot.
What are the drawbacks or the disadvantages of being a pilot? That's it.
The only one I can say, the only disadvantage of being a pilot is that you are dealing with death. That is the big disadvantages of being a pilot.
Everybody deals with
Yeah, but as a pilot, we never know. You can be flying and you have a problem of engine failure. So
but that's the drive, that's well.
yeah, but you on the road, you on the land, it will be easy for you to be led to the hospital. But for a pilot, when you crash, you have to be strong. So that is the big disadvantage of being a pilot. You can die every day you fly.
I really appreciate the work, basically. But only one question: what's the point of your work? What's the point? Because it's much more yours, like your desire. But what's the point, basically, for other people?
I think you are talking about the points, the content of my work.
No, the point is the sense that why does it matter? Why do you think that it's important for us to hear about it?
Okay, because I was on internet last time and I saw that scientists observed that many kids dream to become pilots. Even 40% of kids dream to become pilot, but just 4% become so because of problems that people face before becoming pilot. So that's why I chose this type.
Well done. It's very serious with this part.
This is tremendous. This is tremendous. Now we call Mr. Joshua, who's gonna be speaking about humanity. Okay?
Thank you for the floor. Brothers and sisters, members of the jury, good evening. I'm so happy to be in front of you to present to you my topic. The title of my topic is Humanity Facing Industrialization. Without much delay, we know all of us know that how industrialization began. Industrialization began in the epoch of colonization, but the Western people was about to look for help. That's why they came here in Africa for looking for help. That's why they began with industrialization. But the problem is what industrialization facing to humanity. That in my topic, I quote some steps. First of all, I spoke about energies. All of us, being scientists or not, we know that to transform something to another, we need energies, and that energies allow us to increase our technology. And some countries, even in Europe, they are used to well manage this technology, and sometimes they bad manage the technology. And when they bad manage that technology, we have that a kind of smoke. And that smoke, in that smoke we have an acid rain. When I speak about acid rain, it means there are some equations. I don't know. I cannot write it, but there are some equations. Yeah, when we have COD means dioxide of oxygen, and that dioxide of oxygen, when we combine it with water, and it became an acid rain. And when I came here, I saw Mr. John Parsparian. It's because of ozone, and our ozone is about to open. When ozone is open, we have hot. It's an example of in this room. We had hot because of the open of ozone. And I spoke about green wood. People are unable to manage well their way of using green wood. It means we have a kind of smoke. We have a kind of smoke which when we are breathing, and it will give you some diseases as asthma. There are people who are suffering from asthma. There are people who are suffering from cancer or something else. But the great reason is because of some smoke which is so bad for people to breathe. And apart from this, the advantage that I got here